I was not feeling all that brilliant, and I was learning to breathe without moving my ribs. And Ralph Butler, who's in this setup here, took me by the arm and led me up the hill. And Bill O'Keefe then put a field dressing on it, which wouldn't stay on it. And I don't remember the details then, but we were ordered to move around, to form up and move off around. That this bloke, Bill Grigg, I was telling you about earlier, the lieutenant was leading A Company and taking them around the Japanese. And he saw me early in the piece, and I told him what had happened. And every time the column stopped during the night, it was in pitch black. He used to say, well, the word used to come back, is Norrish in the column? And, I'd say, yes, I'm here. And the bloke behind me would say, what did he say? I said he wanted to know if I was here. So anyway, he wouldn't let the column move off all night unless I was on my feet. But the next morning I met the MO, and he crushed up a cup full of sulfanilamide tablets and put it in his palm of his hand and tapped it into the hole in the ribs and put an elastoplast over it about that square and said, keep on going, Norrish, until you can't carry on any further and someone will pick you up. So I took his advice. 50 or 40 years later, when he came over to Western Australia, he said, I'm glad you're still taking little short steps, boy.
How long did it take you to get back to the first day?
5.5 days. And I would never at any stage thought that I was in trouble. It was extraordinary. I never doubted the fact that I was going to get out. And I also had an amazing experience. I couldn't lie down. I had to find a log or a stump to sit on and one to lean on and stick my 6-foot pole into the deck and put my chin on it and my hand on it and doze. And twice I had the experience of observing me on the track in sepia colour, and there were sepia colour surroundings. You can put your own interpretation on it. And me just sitting there and somebody walking up the track or trudging up the track towards me, and then it's gone. But Frank Farrell, who's a friend of mine, came out of, he was the LOB, as you know. LOB is left out of battle, the key personnel to cater for the tragedy when a battalion's lost. He and I were pretty good mates, and he was a corporal, a postal corporal while he was in the LOB. And he gathered up a couple of half blankets and some biscuits and PKs and God knows what, and came up the track. He said he heard that I wasn't going too well, and he lit a fire, and it was the second day. He lit a fire and produced a 7-pound tin of sunshine milk, which we poured into hot water and ate it like a gruel. But no, it was lucky. He stayed with me overnight, and the next morning, the first native boy that went past, Frank grabbed him and said, listen, this bloke's your responsibility, boy. You get him back to base. And so I had, for the next 3 days, I had my arm over the shoulder of a fuzzy wuzzy, and my hand over his shoulder and resting on his chest. And he was wonderful. He didn't need any instructions. We never talked, except to say thank you. He didn't ever say anything. And when when I'd had enough and I wanted to drink, he'd prop me up against a tree or sit me on a log with a tree behind me, disappear over the horizon and come back with a tin full of milk. A tin full of water, I mean. A milk tin full of water. And he knew instinctively when I'd had enough and I had to stop.